welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do the slightly late mid-year freak-out book tag. Mid-year freak-out tag, yeah. This has been going around on YouTube like it does every year, and I enjoy watching them. Sorry if you can hear the birds chirping. They tend to get excited whenever someone is talking, be it me or a video or music or anything. They just go crazy. So as for the tag, it starts right out with best book of the year so far, which is hard to pick out. And actually I don't have a single 5-star yet. I feel like I have read some good books, and I have like 19 4-star books, but no like 5-star excellent books. But for 4 stars, I read I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys, and I really enjoyed that. It was historical fiction about Romania, and it is set in the late 80s under a dictator, and I cannot pronounce his name, Ceausescu maybe, and it's about a young boy whose family is just trying to live their lives, and this dictatorship is so ingrained in everyday life that it turns out that there are spies everywhere around him, even though he's just trying to live his life and talk to his girlfriend, and also it follows him like during the uprisings or whatever, and the fall of this dictator, and years later the archives are opened and he goes to have a look around and see, and he realizes that some of the people he thought were good were not, and some of the people he thought were bad were not, and how some of his family were spies and how he was a spy, and how is he supposed to live on now, knowing that the person who ruined his life and gave him such deep emotional scars back then is just living his life the next block over, being a dad of 2 little girls, and so definitely a lot of action and also a lot of thoughts about how you move on after such a dictatorship. And the second book that is the best book of the year is Heaven Official's Blessing by this person. And it was actually a big surprise, because I read The Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, I think it's called, by the same author, and I didn't really enjoy that, even though everyone absolutely loved it, and also loved the live action version of it called The Untamed, I think. So I was a little bit hesitant going into this, but it turns out I really loved it, and I'm definitely continuing the series. So the best sequel I read this year is probably Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibáñez, and that is the sequel to What the River Knows, and it is set in Egypt, and it's like a little bit magic, but not a lot. So it's about this archaeological dig in Egypt, and I love anything to do with archaeology and ancient Egypt, so that was right up my alley. Then we have new releases that you want to read for the rest of the year, and I'm not really big into new releases, but this year I am doing the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, hosted by Q, and one of the prompts for that is reading a book in the month or the following month it is released. So I do have some things written down that I can hopefully get to read. Like, this is the end, like towards the end of July, and I haven't read anything yet, so, but again, I do get all my books from the library, or like 95% of my books from the library, so it does take a little while to come in. So I'm very glad that Q added the amendment that you can read it next month. So for July, I can read them in July or August and they will still count. But I definitely have a number of books I need to read in order to fulfill these prompts. And the reading challenge goes until July 6th, I think, next year. So there will be a lot more new releases coming. Then your most anticipated release, and that is definitely The Impossible Fortune by Richard Osman. That is the 5th book, I think, in the Thursday Murder Club series, and I absolutely loved the entire series. So when I heard this one was coming out, I got excited, because I don't really follow new releases, because again, I get my books from the library, so I might note it down and then I'll just like wait for 6 months until it's available. But this one is definitely on my radar because I loved the last book and the entire series, like I said. Then we have A Biggest Disappointment, and I have put down An American Marriage because I really did not like that book. I did not like the characters, but I went into it not expecting a lot, so it wasn't really a disappointment as such, but I think probably maybe Legends and Lattes. I know it's sacrilege to say, but I just don't love when the book is cozy and just cozy. Like, I need a plot, and there was a plot, definitely there was, but I don't know, just like the everyday runnings of the cafe, I'm just like, I don't care how many cinnamon rolls you're making every day. So yeah, and everyone loved that, so I had high expectations going in. Then we have The Biggest Surprise, and again, that was Heaven Official's Blessing, because like I said, I wasn't expecting to enjoy it, because my biggest problem with The Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation was the writing style, and I figured the writing style wouldn't probably not change that much when it's the same author, and it's the same, it's not the same story, but it's the same kind of fantasy setting and with gods and magic and stuff. So yeah, I wasn't expecting much, but I really liked it. Then we have A Favorite New Author. And again, I don't have any 5-star books, but I did read Dear Mrs. Bird by A.J. Pierce and really enjoyed it. And it's set during the Second World War, and that always makes for a good setting. I do love historical fiction, and yeah, it's about this woman who gets a job at the newspaper and is trying to like make her way up and make a difference in the world. Then there's a question of your favorite fictional crush, and I don't really get fictional crushes because that would be kind of weird for me. Like, great if you do, but I don't really. So I think I will just move on. So there's a favorite fictional character, and I loved Laszlo Strange from Strange Dreamer. I read Muse of Nightmares this year and enjoyed it, and I really love him because he's just so kind and so forgiving and so giving. Yeah, just a great character. And also I also really loved Xilian, I think, the main character of this book, again because he was just like so chill and just going with the flow. A book that made you cry. I am dead inside, so I don't really cry that much. But Blood over Brighthaven did have me, in the vicinity at the end, so there's that. And a book that made you happy was River Kings. This is a non-fiction about the Vikings from Scandinavia to the Silk Roads, and I have to say that there was a lot of talk about the Vikings in England and Scandinavia, and then not that much about them going into Russia and the East. Not as much as I expected, considering the title, so that was a little bit off, but my first education is archaeologist, and this did take me back to like all the the digs and the science you use in archaeology, like dendrochronology and thermoluminescence and C14 dating and stuff, and so that was fun to revisit that. Then there's your favorite book to film adaptation, and I don't really watch a whole lot of movies, so I don't think I've seen anything that was an adaptation from a book. Is that correct? Probably. I tend to watch YouTube mostly, so. But if you have any good ones, let me know, and I'll put it on my watch list. Then we have The Most Beautiful Book you have acquired this year, and again, you are getting tired of seeing it, but this one is a really beautiful cover. And now that I think of it, I don't think that was my answer, because I don't think I bought this one this year. So I don't buy a lot of books, but I recently went to Ireland and had a peruse around a bookshop, and I bought the Jazad Air, mainly because I just could not get a hold of it here in Denmark at the library. So I figured I would just buy it myself and have that done with. And I do love a good like golden cover. Then we have TBR by the end of the year. What do you still need to read by the end of the year? And there are a lot of things. So there's all these new releases, or at least one every month. I would also like to make a dent in the Herkjed challenge. I have all my, not all, but a lot of my suggestions for the prompts here, so there's enough to get going with. I also have made a TBR games TBR, so these are all the books that are on my different TBRs from my TBR games that I have been playing that I need to get around to reading. So I would, not necessarily by the end of this year, but I would like to make a dent again. And then I have my 2022 to 23 TBR, which are all the books that I have put on my TBR in those years. And I would like to finish this list again at some point, not necessarily at the end of this year, but yeah, I would like to make another dent. And then the final question is a favorite video of yours that you made this year. And I started out 9 months ago, I think, making videos, and I haven't made that many like different styles of videos, but something I do love every year is playing TBR games. And I have my own here. This is my old one, and then I have recently made a new one that I still enjoy playing. It's here. And then I also love playing other people's TBR games. I did also make, at the end of last year, I did I win my 2024 TBR? And I think the answer was no. Where I went through all the TBRs I had made in 2024 and figured out if I did actually read them in the assigned months and how many TBRs, like monthly TBRs, I did finish. But I think I did okay. I think I was like 5 or 6 months, so pretty much 50-50. But yeah, that was fun. And also I do love going through and seeing if you do what you plan, and I think I'll do that next year too. So yeah, that is my freak out tag. So let me know if you have done it too, and let me know your favorite books and most beautiful books of this year, and maybe they will enter my TBR. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!